Hello everyone and welcome to our January special event. Today we have a wonderful menu. We have potato leek soup along with making some muffins. But before we begin, let's smudge. Okay, let's begin. So if you've registered for this January special event, you will be receiving oatmeal chocolate chip, a little package. So let's get started. I thought we could do this first in order to have everything almost done around the same time. So my oven is already at 400 degrees. So on the side of the package, these instructions here is for half of this recipe, and so I'm going to be using it all, so I'm going to double it. So double the egg, so 2 eggs, and doubling the water. Okay, so I'm gonna put everything in the bowl. And what I'm going to do first is just crack my eggs, 2 eggs. Whisk them nicely. Add the whole package in and add the water. Stir that in nicely. Now this recipe is for muffins. It calls for muffins, but say you don't have a muffin tin, then you have to improvise. And I am going to be showing you the way that I'm going to improvise, because my son likes to have muffins, but he also likes his own little individual cake. So what I am going to try and do is do just that for him. So this is nicely mixed up now, so that is wonderful. So now I'm gonna grab some cooking spray, spray my muffin tin, and also that little cakey that I had promised. So what I am using here is a little egg pan that I usually use to make eggs. And why this is safe to go into the oven is because this is metal here, it's not plastic. So I am using this. But also if you have possibly like an iron little pan, that may work as well. So, or a loaf pan, that would work as well. So here we go. So now I'm going to grab a ladle this up into the muffin tin. So my son is gonna have his muffins, but also in a little cakey form. So we improvise, we use what we had, and that is great. And that may be a situation in your household. Maybe you don't have muffin tins, but you have 2 loaf pans. That will work just as well. So the instructions say to place in the oven from anywhere from 18 to 20 minutes. So we're going to do that now, and that is for the muffins. So these guys may take a little bit longer to cook through, and they must be golden brown. So we're gonna put it in right now, and we'll let it be in rest while we work on the potato and leek soup recipe. Okay everyone, so now we're moving on to the next step, which is to make the potato and leek soup. So your leeks will come like really large, and we do not need this part, the green side, or this little end part at the end. We're gonna chop that off. Also, just as a tip, at the top here, in the inside here, especially at the top, there is usually a little bit of dirt. So I'm gonna show you what to do. We're gonna do a cut, and then turn it to the side, and another cut. And now we're gonna have 4 sections. Now we're gonna run it underwater and take out all the dirt that may be in the inside. Okay, so now that it is clean, we're going to chop finely, very finely. So now that we have the leeks all cut up nicely into very, very small little pieces, I am going to prepare the broth. So I grab my bouillon, putting it inside, adding water to it, and like that, once these are wilted, then we add the broth to the pot. Okay, so it's time to take out the muffins. I can tell they're ready. Oh, they're very nice. I cannot remove them until they spend at least 10 minutes in the muffin tin. So I have a nice large soup pot here. What I'm going to do is add a little bit of oil, or you're more than welcome to add a little bit of butter in order to start the cooking process with the leeks. So the idea is to soften them up really nice and tender before we move on. So here I am adding a little bit of oil. Now I'm going to be adding my leeks. So far I'm heating up my broth just in preparation when to add it to the pot. Also, I am softening my leeks right now. And while that is happening, I'm going to be peeling the potatoes and then chopping them up in order for them to go into the pot. So the idea with the leeks is to soften them up, not necessarily brown them. We want to just soften them up nicely. Okay, the cakes are ready as well. And now I'm just gonna let them rest. Okay, so now I just finished peeling the potatoes and I'm cutting them up. And the idea is that I want to cut them reasonably small, little cubes, about this size. And it's just a rough chop. Now typically, potato leek soup is a pureed soup. However, if you do not have a hand blender, you could always use a potato masher. Okay, so the leeks are nicely wilted, and so now I'm going to be adding the potatoes and the broth. So I've added the broth to the pot, and now I'm going to bring that to a boil, and once I bring it to a boil, then I'm going to reduce it back to a simmer. Okay, so we are back and the potatoes are ready and nice and soft, and so now we're ready to blend all of these ingredients. And like I said earlier, if you do not have one of these hand blenders, that is more than fine. You could even just have the soup like this, or you could use a potato masher. So here I go. Ooh, this soup looks gorgeous. I love the consistency. It is quite thick. And also too, I did not puree it fully. There's still some chunks. That's just what I like. I like a little bit of texture, but you gotta make it your own. In addition, I have decided, in order to make it my own for my own home, I will show you this special ingredient that I will be using. Now, look at how lovely that looks. Oh, it's just gorgeous. I'm going to add just a little bit of pepper because I really like that. Now, at this stage, some people put a little bit of cream just to give it that really decadent flavor and just creaminess. Also too, some people like to put homemade croutons that are really nice and crunchy. to absorb the flavor and make it mushy and crunchy at the same time. Or bacon bits is another common ingredient, crispy at that. But what I'm going to be using today are little bits of potatoes. What are they called? Potato tots? Tater tots. And I think this will give it a nice little bits of crunch and texture to the soup. So this is my version of potato leek soup. I hope that you can make your own and enjoy it. Now, unfortunately, we are not able to send out frozen items to you, but this is why you have the options of choosing whatever ingredients you want in order to make it your own. But with that said, we hope you have a feast with your muffins and your potato leek soup. Take care, everyone.